August 3rd, and something very interesting with the latest jobs report almost everyone seems to have missed. The media, politicians, even Trump himself, upset about this latest report. Should he be? I don't think so. Wait till you see this. Anybody needs to pass this message along to the White House comms team. Also, the Trump administration's fight with sanctuary jurisdictions picking up steam. And we may now know why Kamala Harris just dropped out of the California gubernatorial race. And it's a shocker.
And out front now, Neel Kashkari, President and CEO of the Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis. And President Kashkari, I appreciate your time tonight. I mean, an unprecedented firing of the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The jobs report was obviously very disappointing. What's your reaction to this response? Bad jobs report, fire the head of the jobs numbers.
The last week has been like a roller coaster, economically speaking. The week starting out great for the Trump administration with Q2 GDP soaring to a record 3%, much higher than expectations, and proof that America's economy is growing twice as fast as the Biden economy was, which the Fed then used as evidence of why they can't cut rates. They said the economy's too robust, growing too fast. Well, that optimism proved to be very wrong. One day after the Fed announces rates will stay unchanged, that they won't lower rates, what happens? The Labor Department publishing this whopper of a jobs report showing only 73,000 jobs created last month in July, far below the 104 estimate. And that wasn't even the punchline. They also updated May and June's job numbers, revising them way lower, massively lower, 258,000 jobs lower than previously reported, saying May and June basically had no job growth whatsoever. That's what these revisions showed. That's a big deal. That was the largest jobs revision we've seen in years, and this has been a trend. This has been happening for like 18 months. The BLS has done this almost every month for 18 months, only this time the revisions were much larger than we ever saw under Joe Biden, and Trump furious over this, and for good reason. If the Fed knew this, if the Fed had seen these revisions sooner, one day earlier, they likely would have cut rates and cut big. The president saying enough is enough. Erica McIntarfer, chief labor statistician, you are fired. You're out of here.
Why did you fire the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics?
Because I think her numbers were wrong. Just like I thought her numbers were wrong before the election. Days before the election, she came out with these beautiful numbers for Kamala. I guess Biden/Kamala. And she came out with these beautiful numbers trying to get somebody else elected. Then right after the election, I think on the 15th, November 15th, she had an $800,000 or $900,000 massive reduction. Said she made a mistake. That woman's numbers.
But what everyone seems to be missing, even Trump himself, is that when you look past the top line numbers and you look at how or why these numbers were revised lower, the reason, so clear, so glaringly obvious. The BLS says only 73,000 jobs were created last month. Well, get this. How many Americans gained jobs last month? 383,000. Yes, the total number of Americans who were added to the workforce, found a new job, came in at a record, a whopping 383,000. So then, how is it possible only 73,000 jobs were created? Because a stunning 467,000 foreign-born immigrant workers lost their jobs. Let me say that again. Last month, the month of July, almost 500,000 foreign-born workers left the workforce, lost their jobs. This is the reason. This is what the Trump administration should be countering in the press. Thursday's jobs report was a direct consequence of the purge of illegal aliens from our labor market, something Trump promised to do, and it's in the data, in this last jobs report. It's happening. If you're a Trump supporter, this is a good thing. Not in a cruel way or anything. I'm being serious. The majority of these foreign-born workers who just lost their jobs, they're in the construction trade. These are blue-collar, good-paying construction jobs that are opening up now for Americans. 383 383,000 Americans just replaced 467,000 illegals in the workforce. That's the point of the Trump administration's America First policy. He appears to be doing exactly what he promised. In another story, 3 Colorado police officers have been suspended last week without pay for breaking their state's sanctuary state laws and sharing info with ICE. Mesa County Sheriff Todd Roel suspending 2 of his deputies and a sergeant for sharing the location of an illegal stopped during a traffic stop. They shared the location with ICE in this WhatsApp group chat, something that's apparently illegal in Colorado. We've seen story after story like this across the country for weeks. We've seen it happen in Colorado, in Illinois, in Chicago, in Los Angeles. This is a foundational fight, folks, for both sides. We know why the Dems are fighting so hard for this. Take LA, for instance, Los Angeles. They are at risk of losing a third of their population. A third of its residents are here illegally. The number of residents affecting a lot of stuff, affecting apportionment for congressional seats. This is a big deal. And why Dems are probably freaking out that Trump's immigration policies are working. These jurisdictions seeing an exodus, a serious exodus of self-deportations. Yesterday, this public service announcement went viral from an ER nurse in LA. Watch what she said, saying due to ICE raids and all the illegals who have fled the city recently, the hospitals in Los Angeles virtually empty. Empty. Watch.
Just got off my 12-hour shift at one of LA County's easiest hospitals and ERs. And you guys, our waiting room is just empty, like 4 patients max, like every hour. And as much as a healthcare worker enjoys a slow day, it's actually pretty scary. Like, I know that a lot of patients are just scared to seek medical care right now, and it's just really sad, the circumstances that we are in right now. And it just scares me for the results of this after, because a lot of patients are going to hold off to not seek medical care, and they're going to come back 10 times sicker. Our hospitals are supposed to be safe spaces, and we are there to protect our patients and care for them regardless of who they are, and where they come from. So it's just a PSA. Please, please, please educate anybody who is scared to seek medical care to seek it if necessary.
Think about that. The toll it's had on public services, 10 to 15 million new people added to our cities over the last 5 years. That's a lot of people. Look at that chart. Look from 2020 to 2024 when Biden was in office. Many of them receiving benefits. It was unsustainable. Well, look at 2025. Between February to June, only 11,000 crossings. That's incredible. Even CNN giving Trump credit for this.
It might sound counterintuitive, but maybe what's in the party's best interest is to, dare I say, agree with Trump from time to time. Acknowledge wins on issues like NATO, trade, and the border, which have yielded some positive results, even while disagreeing with the way in which they came. It's a good thing that migration through our previously porous borders has slowed to a trickle, and that our NATO allies have agreed to increase their contribution from 2 to 5% of gross domestic product, and that the markets, despite having just had a rough week, have done well in the year to date. Inflation seems to be tamed. Plus, while Trump's tariff policy looked like it was implemented by the seat of his pants, thus far, all the doomsday fears have not panned out.
In another story, a good, positive story, the political career of Vice President Kamala Harris has officially come to an end. After losing in a stunning landslide defeat to Donald Trump 8 months ago, Kamala was holding out hope to run again in 2028. First, she was planning to run for governor in California next year to replace Gavin Newsom. But even in the most blue, solid blue of blue states, even Californians don't want her. Her polling there in the gutter. Hence why we saw her bow out on the Late Show or the Stephen Colbert Show a few days ago. And her chances running in 2028 for president, off the table now. She's as unpopular in the Democrat Party as Mike Pence is in the Republican Party. New polling showing she has just a 6% chance of being the 2028 Dem nominee, behind Josh Shapiro, behind even Pete Buttigieg, who's at 9% odds.
If she wants to run in 2028, what are the numbers that you're seeing about this right now?
Yeah, I would just say hold your horses here. The chance that Kamala Harris is going to be the 2028 Democratic nominee, they don't look too good right now, to be perfectly honest with you. Chance of being the 2028 Democratic nominee.
Don't you need to do the caveat of like what year we're currently in?
I believe we're in 2025, though. It kind of feels like 2045. There have been so many years and just one so far. Look, Gavin Newsom is the favorite at 20%, according to the betting markets. Do not sleep on Ocasio-Cortez. AOC right up there at 15%. Buttigieg 9%. Shapiro 6%. Harris all the way down at 6%, basically in a tie for fourth place at this particular point. So if you have any ideas that Kamala Harris is passing up a potential gubernatorial run-in for 2026 in California and perhaps would be trading up for a presidential bid, the betting markets at this point, simply put, do not buy it.
Bottom line, Kamala's political career, at least for the foreseeable future, is over. And good riddance. All right, that wraps up this episode. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next.